So we're really happy to see everybody here today. I know it's Mother's Day, and hopefully you've celebrated with your mother or for your mother in some way today. Um, we've I've really learned to celebrate my mom every day. Every day has really been a gift, and I don't think you really realize it until we start getting older ourselves and we realize the impact that she did have on us. Not everybody had a great experience, but for whatever reason, wherever she was at on her path, that was yours to learn as well. So I celebrate my mother. I hope you celebrate yours. And so we're still feeling our way through this time of semi-isolation and gathering online. And because some of us have ongoing obligations right after the gathering, we are going to be a little bit time sensitive in honor of, just being respectful of everybody's time. And so we're going to do our best to structure our gatherings to end no later than 11:15, which will end with our prayer of love. That will be our last official thing going on in the gathering. And then after that, if you want to stick around and chat together, that's fine. If you've got things you want to address to some of the new board, and we'll start getting into some of that, that's the time to do it after our prayer of love. And so first thing, I'm going to do the first couple of announcements. So the first announcement, because I appreciate so much the men's group for once again volunteering to help clean up the OTCA grounds. It was kind of left to me, and William does some of it as well, but he's super busy. So our brave men have volunteered, I see that, Larry, have volunteered to help me do this on Saturdays, and I really do appreciate it. You have no idea. So Larry, take it away.
Okay. So speaking of the men's group and that Saturday morning cleanup, Gary Moxley was the one that initiated that at the men's group. He brought up the idea, and we chimed in, and it's been our back-breaking pleasure to do it. I'm kidding. It's easy work when many hands are in the kitchen. So anyway, I'd like to take the opportunity to thank Joe and Melita for holding space every Sunday, just like they did in Studio B. It sets a great tone for our gatherings. So just like every other Sunday where they have their meditation in Studio B, we appreciate the space that they hold. Tomorrow, actually, let's start with today. Today at 1 o'clock, we've got the astrology class with Barry, and you can contact Barry for details on that after the service. Tomorrow, 11 o'clock, chair yoga with Brown Feather Carol, aka Coquita. Okay, at 11 o'clock a.m. On Tuesday, of course, like we mentioned, the open men's group at 12:30, right here on your Zoom channel. Okay, and let's see what else we got. On Wednesday at 6 p.m., 12 Universal Spiritual Laws with Debbie Dean. The first of 3 weeks. Okay, and that's on Wednesday at 6 p.m. And Kimberly, that's all I have as far as the announcements. Shall we introduce Jane? Jane Hawthorne, are you there?
Thank you, Grace, for allowing me into your home. Today's word from the boys is remember to breathe. Pull up that breath along your cerebral spinal fluid and ignite that pineal gland and just go to it. And I will ask for help in that and all other things concerned. This goes out to present company and absent friends. The winds of the south, Sachamama, great serpent, wrap your coils of light around this medicine space. We know that now is the time to shed our past the way you shed your skin, so that we may source from who we're becoming 10,000 years from now. Great serpent, great teacher, remind us to walk softly on the belly of the mother. Get close to her, stay close to her on our path. Thank you, great serpent, for coming here and giving us your wisdom. Aho.
Aho.
The winds of the west, Otorongo, Mother, Sister, Jaguar. We are so grateful for your teachings of how we too can walk the rainbow bridge between the worlds at this important time. As we access the higher dimensions, you lead the way. Great Cat, you who have seen the birth and death of galaxies, you who see the unlimited potential between the tick and the tock, pad around this medicine space today as we do this important work. Help us as individuals and collectively to track for those messages that serve our highest divine purpose now and always. Thank you, Great Cat, for coming here, teaching us the rich, moist, feminine ways of the jungle. We do appreciate and love you so. Winds of the North, ancestors, you who have gathered with us today to whisper to us how to come back into balance as you've always known. Teach us your ways. We are listening. Siwa Kenti, royal hummingbird, little bird that takes the farthest journey. We too go on our epic journey now. Thank you for your inspiration, the joy that you bring us in your bright colors, your little wings beating out the pattern of infinity. You hover, you can go backwards, you drink only from the nectar of life. Thank you for bringing us your teachings. Thank you for returning to us once more. Thank you all who have gathered here today. The winds of the east, where every day we're given a fresh beginning. Hatun Kunder, Hatun Eagle, great birds, lift us up on your wings, that we can see the grand vision, the big picture. Thank you for spreading your wings so sweetly over this medicine space and all who have gathered here. Show us those pristine snow-capped mountains, now our dreams, allowing us to pick them up. Let us catch them, let us see only with the eyes of compassion and beat with the heart of the Creator as you show us the way. Great birds, thank you so much for being here today. Pachamama, we sing this song to you today. Your return to beauty and quiet and abundance is available for all to see as you take this breath. We know that you too make your great transition, and we humbly thank you for giving us such beauty and a place to walk to do our ceremonies, to breathe your beautiful air. We know everything that we need for the journey has come from your breast. Dear Mother, it is Mother's Day today. As we celebrate our biological ones, we truly celebrate your great spiritual essence as our cosmic mother, our beautiful, protective, loving mother of all time. We do celebrate you and we do love you so. I hope. Viracocha, Wakan Kanka, Christ, Buddha, quantum field, we come directly to you today as we do this important work. Help us see the way clearly now as we step into our new becoming. Grandmother Moon, with your silvery feminine light, lighting our path at night so we can see. All the benevolent Star Nation brothers and sisters, you sing to us now clearly, and we know you're there in the day as well as the night, that we can source our highest divine messages. Thank you all who have gathered here today for this precious ceremony, and thank you as always for allowing us to sing the song of life one more day. Oh.
Oh.
And now for our daily word, my wife, Jan.
Today's Sunday, May 10th. It's Mother's Day. Happy Mother's Day, everybody. And the word for today is Mother's Blessing. I honor all mothers and am grateful for their love. I bless my mother, and I am grateful to her for the gift of nurturing love. Whether my mother is still with me or has passed on, her love still lives in my heart, and her wisdom continues to inspire me. I am grateful for the many ways my mother has blessed me. I also feel deep appreciation and tender affection for all those who have blessed me with the selfless gift of motherly love. I would not be who I am without them. Through the living example of the mothers in my life, I pass along the blessings of a mother's care and devotion as I embrace opportunities to share an affirming thought, an encouraging word, a smile, or a simple act of kindness. I honor my mother and all mothers as I share the love of God that never fails. And from Proverbs 31:26, she opens her mouth with wisdom, and the teaching of kindness is on her tongue.
Aho.
Thank you.
Oh.
Okay, and Diane from Queens. Are you there,
All right.
Diane?
Before I get started, I want to wish all the beautiful mothers out there a beautiful and wonderful Mother's Day. And today, especially, I want to thank my mother, who is in heaven, for that she gave birth to me this very day. And I am so grateful for all the gifts that she's given me through my life, the blood that runs through my veins, and the love that she has given to me in my heart. Thank you, Mom.
Very sweet.
Breathing in. Thank you. Breathing in, I embrace the planet. Breathing in fully, I hug the planet with the breath of love. I hold it gently, and with sweet release, I let it go. Breathing in the joy of the planet. The sweet, rich goodness of this day, all people, all colors, all countries, and all cultures. The collective knowing of the peaceful people of the planet. I hold my breath. I hold the love and then simply release the joy, the knowing, and the gentle peace back to the peaceful people on the planet. Breathe in, breathe out. Peaceful people, peaceful planet. Embracing one another in breath before and in sweet release, giving their peaceful love back to the peaceful people of the planet. And so it is. Aho.
And this is from Brown Feather's grandmother, Two Bears. And it's titled Soon to Be a Memory. In a coincidence of circumstance, we look for a reason. In a narrow passageway, we search for an entry or an exit. In a flat, wide open desert, we flounder for shelter. Amongst the ghost of our past, we expect a resolution and beg forgiveness. Expanding out into a future, time, and space, we assume things will be better and pin all hopes on what is to come. At the moment, let us be mindful, sit in the here and the now, see the beauty around us, show gratitude for all that is, and learn the lessons of our discomfort. These are the moments that mold our character. So bond our relationships and this will soon become a memory. From Two Bears.
Thank you, Tito.
Excellent.
Now, everyone, it gives me great pleasure to introduce for our Sunday service message today our spiritual leader,
Director.
director,
And director.
and director, and
I'll
chief
leave her.
and
I'm not
bottle washer,
because I don't want any followers.
Kimberly Kelly.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Mary. Thank you for everybody for sharing those wonderful sentiments about Mother, about our spiritual mothers, about Mother Earth, our birth mothers. And it's absolutely true. No matter how we spent our youth with our mothers, no matter how they treated us, no matter the situation at home, we wouldn't be here today. We would not be where we are without them. So we have that to be grateful for. Like most of us growing up, we played all day, didn't we? We played for hours, especially in the summertime. And I'm sure I don't need to point out the obvious, that this was long before computers, or at least PCs, and video games, and we just didn't have much TV there. I think we had 2 channels. And in the summer, it was mostly swimming and playing in each other's yards. But you know, my little hometown was so small that if you were anywhere within a 3-block radius, you could hear anybody's mom say, "Come and get it." And we came running because we knew exactly what that meant. We were going to get the best snack ever. White bread, ooh, yeah, with margarine slathered all over it and sprinkled with white sugar. Oh, man.
Those were the days.
Yeah, those were the days. So, and we survived it, didn't we? Boy, that was great, though. Then almost every night at our house, we'd probably alternate between meat, potato, vegetable, and of course, bread with, you know, margarine. And then the other days, we would normally have Mexican food. I don't think I'll ever get tired of Mexican food. But back then, you know, the pinto beans were soaked in salt water. Then they were cooked in salt water. Then they were mashed up and then lightly fried with a generous helping of, lard. Then rolled in a tortilla made with flour, with white flour, salt, and another generous helping of lard. Yeah, it was really guilt-free eating back then, wasn't it? I never heard Mom or one adult ever utter the word white flour or lard. You know, it just didn't matter. We just didn't have there just weren't that many choices back then. I'm not going to tell you what year it was, but the decade was the 50s. But eventually I lost my appetite for sugar. I lost my appetite for those, we just called them sugar sandwiches. I know, weird, right? Then the inevitable happened. We grow up. And just like food, we all lost our appetites for a lot of things in our childhood, didn't we? Including our religion of origin. Whether it was no longer meeting our spiritual needs or we just had a healthy sense of curiosity. There were lots of times when we just explored different kinds of religions, different religions, different spiritual paths or practices. And depending on the situation at home, we might have just tossed it all aside for a while. But no matter when or why or how, our spiritual needs just weren't getting met then. That's why we started looking and going elsewhere. And then there's some that found actually an even deeper meaning in their religion of origin and simply augmented it with new ideas from other paths because it was feeding that need within. So in my early 20s, I realized I wasn't going to go to hell. I quit believing in that diet. I quit believing in what I was told all those early years, that I was going to go to hell. I figured if I was going to go to hell, then all my friends would be there, and so I wasn't going to worry about it. And so I checked out some other cultures, other churches, something that might really feed my soul. I was away from home. I had been away from home by then for about 5 years. And I just felt like something was missing. And I felt like a spiritual misfit. I think that's why I love that word in CUL, because that's really where I was coming from. So I began looking at all types of different non-traditional religions and spiritual paths. I read a ton of books and listened to a boatload of tapes. Remember those things, those little cassette thingies? They're probably in some museum archive somewhere. But that was the thing back then. And I think most of us are of an age where we remember tapes. But I just took in a tremendous amount of information. You know, it was really intense because I was so hungry for something and I didn't even know what it was. But I was a sponge and I loved everything I learned. Anybody else do that when they were growing up? Yeah, I know. We all did. I think that was part of our demographic, part of our generation too. I discovered things like religious science and self-realization fellowship, metaphysics, channelings, pagan rituals, and practical magic. Those were some of my favorite because they were just so far off the path from where I had been all my life. And so you'd think with all that spiritual food on the buffet, I would have been full of all kinds of nourishment, but I wasn't. I was full of a lot of things, but nourishment wasn't it. Because, and this is really key for me, because I could talk about everything I read and listened to. I had all this information in my head, but it never made its way down into my heart and soul. So I could regurgitate just about anything, but it really wasn't integrated into my beliefs. So basically, what I'm saying is I could talk the talk, but I really wasn't walking the walk at the time. And the thing about, if you don't spiritually walk your walk, eventually it collapses and you become spiritually malnourished. So on the other hand, let's say you explored things like Muslim, Catholicism, Judaism, Christianity, paganism. You watched all the videos, books on tapes. You eagerly looked for that one path that would have all the answers. But you didn't. None of them had all the answers. See, the one thing that will keep us spiritually constipated is believing that we have to adhere to one path and follow that one set of rules and then live our lives according to that one set of teachings that somebody else wrote up. And worse yet, we think we have to stay in that box that someone else built for us. You know, in my case, I was in this one group that we all had to kind of wear the same long skirts and wear our hair up because it couldn't be down and look sexy, God forbid. No makeup. So it was very restrictive, and a lot of the things that I was looking into were restrictive. No matter how free and exciting they seemed, the bottom line was there were rules to follow. So now I personally enjoy a huge variety of speakers, from like Patrick Kelly. If you haven't seen him, he's really pretty good. Joel Osteen, Matt Kahn, Joe Dispenza, Bruce Lipton, Gabrielle Bernstein, Carolyn Miss, a lot of great speakers with sometimes groundbreaking information and ideas. There's also a lot of other videos, authors, and speakers and such who just seem to be looking for followers. They don't have any real solid ideas of their own, but they're on the internet, so you can believe them because, you know, they can't put anything on the internet that isn't true, right? Yeah. None of us believe that for a minute, do we? So I also don't believe for 1 minute that any one path, any one person has all the answers to my spiritual growth anyway. In fact, the original reason for CUL was to create a safe space for people like you and I to share your personal journey. No matter where you are at any given time, we want you to feel like we don't want you to feel like you need to explain where you at. I got my ebonics going on here, dude, come on. So, we didn't want you to feel like you had to swallow yet another set of doctrine. So I hope we're accomplishing that. And now as we continue the 2020 reset, that's our roadmap. We're not going back to normal. We're recreating a new normal here at CUL. It's our intention every week to present you with a variety of speakers from all different paths and perspectives, so you can continue to explore our buffet of beliefs. And our challenge to you is to take the best of all of them, drop it into your heart, internalize, integrate, chew it up, spit it out, digest it, absorb it to find out who you really are, to find out what your values and beliefs are, so that you can find your balance in the physical, mental, emotional, and spiritual worlds. So what's the answer to spiritual malnutrition and constipation? It's simply to embrace your true authenticity. We want you to walk your unique path that's in true alignment with your soul. Not what we teach you, but take it all in and integrate it and find out what truly resonates with you. Because I'll bet you anything, it's a little bit of this, a little bit of that, and there's nothing wrong with that. And so from the broader perspective of us, kind of the broader perspective of us as source, this isn't just about you or me or CUL. This is about helping to co-create humanity's movement towards tolerance, or better yet, towards acceptance. This is about appreciation and compassion. And this is about acknowledging the powerful co-creator that you are. And as that powerful co-creator, you continue to create new possibilities and perspectives so that humanity will never again be spiritually malnourished or constipated. Thank you so much. Thank you. Jane, if you would please give us, release the directions.
Thank you.
Okay, be sure to speak up.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Anyway, as some of you have known, the release is much simpler. If I ask for something, it is remiss of me not to say, thank you, Sachamama. Thank you. Thank you, Odurongo. Thank you. Thank you, ancestors and hummingbird. We felt your presence strongly. Thank you, great eagle, great condor. Thank you. Pachamama, thank you so much. And quantum field, all those who gathered here, we thank you so much and release you until further notice. Aho. Aho.
So the light of love surrounds me. I am the light of
Light
love.
of love.
The presence
presence
of love.
of enfolds me. I am the
I am
presence
the
of
presence
love.
of love.
The
The
power.
power of love protects me.
I am.
I
I am the power of love. Wherever I am,
Love is.
love is, and all is
all
well.
is well.
Thank you, everybody.
Yay!
Yay.
Kimberly,
Yes, sir.